Hi guys, how are we? And this is me doing an interesting interview. Now, this interview is all about food. Belter one, isn't it? Because everyone loves food. I love food. The whole nation loves food. God, I could go on about it. It's weird about liking food, to be honest, because did you know then that Americans, 53% of Americans are big foodies. You'd never have known that, would you, really? Even I didn't really know that, to be honest with you. Even though America's got like Mackey's, KFC, literally Rosters Burgers, you name it, Wendy's, the list goes on, Cheesecake Factory. Literally, they've got every single fast food. But it's interesting with fast food, but that's why I've got a food expert today. Yeah, and he'll tell me what he likes about food. So please give your host for the one and only. I am the one and only Mr. Davey.
Hello. What's this foodie expert business? I wouldn't say I'm a foodie expert. I am a foodie in terms of me eating a lot of it, but being an expert on it, I mean, that's going to be one of those time will tell sorts of scenarios. Anyway, how
Any?
are you? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. That was my line.
That was your
How are
line.
you? How are you, Davey? Before you ask me how was I?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for inviting me on. It's always nice to come on and talk about something that usually I don't tend to chat about, but it's nice. I talk about it at home and at work a lot. There's many food conversations we have at work and stuff, but in terms of stuff like this, social media, online, that kind of thing, I don't tend to talk about it. So it's nice to have something different to rant about. So again, thank you for inviting me on.
You're welcome, Dave. Anyway, that statistic that I made about the food, about Americans liking food, 53% of it.
Yeah.
What do you make of that statistic?
I mean, it's a big country. It seems likely that a lot of people can eat a lot of food over there. Huge country, great livestock, great produce. The number of people making, enjoying, tasting food. Food's a very, very popular subject. We all like it. We all consume it. We all want to have variants, recipe tweaks and new flavors, new taste sensations. So why not? And it's one of the biggest nations in the world. So yeah, it stands to reason that it's a high statistic.
Yeah, I mean, because everyone goes through the stage of liking food. Like, we all go to restaurants, we all choose off a menu, we all know what we want,
Yeah.
and we all know like what our taste buds are. But like, it seems to be like during lockdown, it's all gone like a bit tits up when you go to a restaurant now. It's like because I went to a restaurant last week, and because I started learning how to cook. Obviously, I learned how to cook chili con carne, you name it, in lockdown. Because I thought, why not? I've got nothing else to do. But I was used to cooking all these gourmet meals that I didn't appreciate what the other restaurant foods had to offer, because it's like as soon as you start cooking, it's like you tend to be picky about what you want. So for you, when you go to a restaurant, is there any like particular food where you go, I just want to order that because that sounds nice, but then when it comes, you're disappointed because it's not what you thought it would be? What do you think?
I mean, most people that know me know I eat a lot of fatty foods. I admit it. I'm not a healthy person at all. I mean, sitting here drinking a beer, which is hardly a healthy drink. But I'm a burger fan. My go-to is to get a big fancy burger, whether it be piled high with toppings or cooked in a certain way. But a burger is usually my first port of call in any restaurant, especially the likes of like TGI Fridays or Byron burger, something like that. It's always a nice gourmet luxury burger. Failing that, something messy like a rack of ribs or a steak, something that you literally can get your teeth right into. When I go, I know there's a lot of people who don't eat meat, vegans and whatnot up there, and that's fine, lifestyle choices and all that. But I tend to go for like a big fatty beef burger or a big steak or something meat based. That's my go-to. In terms of disappointments, it doesn't really happen that often. I tend to like same sort of things and get the food I want. And can you stop clicking that pen?
I just wanted to try and trick you there, Davey.
It's really
it's funny how you should say about beef burgers and stuff like that, because it's weird, like when especially by me, like Gusto on the Albert Dock, they do lovely Italian food, and I love getting a pass there. And I used to love pizza, but for me, I was like, why go for pizza when you can go for pasta? Now, for me, I absolutely love pastas, but I feel like now with pasta, I'm kind of cheated out of it because I put all my fancy twists like peppers, mushrooms, onions, tomatoes. I put all of that in a pasta, and it tends to be like a filling pasta. But when you go to all these like restaurants, it feels like it's not the same of what you're cooking. But it's interesting you're saying about beef burgers there, because if you were a vegetarian or a vegan, say, it's not really a wide variety of what you can have, because if it's meat on a menu and there's no veggie there, you think, oh shit, what can I have that's like not vegetarian or vegan? So what would you get if you were like vegetarian / vegan? What would you go for then?
I mean, this sounds really bad, and I'm sorry if this comes across in a bad way, but I hope I don't get to any kind of stage where being a vegetarian is my only option. I really do hope that's not a case for me. And again, I don't want to offend anyone that's watching this, because obviously eating animals is something that we need to control and do less of. I get that. I totally get it. But if I had to rely on carrot burgers and corn, it's not going to sit well with me. We've tried corn at home. We've tried corn sausages in a sausage casserole, and it was like eating cardboard with vegetables. I'm sorry to the makers of corn. Personally, not a fan of your products. That's just me, though. To other people, it's all right. But I don't get why they make stuff that's like a chicken nugget, like a burger, like a pizza, whatever it might be. Why not just get a completely different product? If you don't want to eat meat or meat-like substances, stop making things that look and taste like meat when you don't want to eat meat at all. But again, personal opinions only.
Yeah, it's weird when you say about corn, because there might be some vegetarians out there that absolutely love corn and swear by corn. But then if you're going off like sausages, people try and get Linda McCartney sausages. So would you personally get Linda McCartney sausages over like rosemary, Cumberland sausage and stick that on a barbie, or what? What would you?
No. I mean, yeah, if there's a vegetarian at this barbecue, and obviously they're going to have to cook their stuff on a separate barbecue so there's no cross-contamination, because, health and safety and all that. Just putting that out there for the people that are listening and watching. Health and safety matters. But if there's a guest there that wants them, I'll cook them, but I would not eat anyone's vegetarian sausages. I'm going to go for the Cumberland, the Lincolnshire, the pork sausage, the chicken sausage, which I would accept as a sausage because I've had them. But no, again, I don't want the veggie option. I can fully appreciate that they taste similar to the real thing. Totally get it, but it's not for me. So
I mean, going back to the burgers, when you've got a burger from a shop, what's like the best burger you've ever picked up from a shop and you thought, I could just have that every single time on a barbecue, or I could just cook that because I just love it and I just love the texture and the way it tastes? What's the best burger you've ever bought from like Tesco's?
So we're talking supermarket wear now. We're not talking restaurants. Okay, well, I have a thing for. Are we going to mention supermarket names on this? I don't know. Are we doing that? Shall we? I don't know. It's your call, boss. Am I allowed to mention supermarket names, or are we leaving that out?
You go for it.
Okay, well, I love Aldi. I'm a cheapskate. It's good value for money. But they do this amazing buttermilk chicken burger. It's just chicken thigh meat coated in buttermilk breaded coating. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very similar to KFC. And because of that, I'm addicted to them. I must have one a week, at least. Maybe even two if I'm feeling a bit naughty. But big, substantial burgers, have them on a brioche bun with some seasoned fries on the side. And if I'm feeling a bit healthy, I'll put a bit of salad on there. But really nice, big, fatty, juicy chicken burger. It's a winner for me every time.
I mean, you can't go wrong with chicken, can you? Because every human being loves chicken. You can have a chicken salad. You can have like obviously Caesar salad, but then again, it's not really like kind of what you want. But anything chicken related goes with anything. So like you can have chicken tonight, creamy chicken mushroom, anything. Like you can literally have anything to do with chicken because everyone on this planet loves chicken. So
Yeah,
it's like one of those big things. Like we all go to like KFC. What you were saying about Aldi about how you picked a chicken up and it was like tasting KFC. Now you must bite into a KFC burger and think, yeah, this is like heaven. But then you've got other people that go, I prefer Mackey's over
yeah,
KFC. But when you think about it though, when you sit there and think about it, Mackey's is just, I mean, people disagree, but Mackey's I just find slopped on, where KFC I find more like freshly cooked chicken. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's one
But
of those.
it's one of those. I mean, what do you think when it comes to that type?
I mean, fast food. Don't I do eat a lot of it. I don't live off it. Like there's times when I go months without it. However, I do like fast food because of the convenience of it, but it has to taste good. Now, it's hard to pick up whether you go to KFC, you go to Mackey's, you go to Burger King. They all have strengths and weaknesses in terms of certain meals. You combine the three in some sort of meal, you're going to get a good deal. If you go for like Mackey's milkshake and Burger King's fries and KFC's chicken burger as a one set meal, you're looking at the best takeaway meal ever, arguably. But it's pros. I can say pros and cons to each one. Yeah, Mackey's sometimes it's a bit lackluster because of the sheer quantity of customers that are coming through. They've got to be quick. It's meant to be fast food, so yeah. Sometimes they just slap stuff on and they don't look like you see in the picture. But
Mm,
a majority of their stuff does taste good and does the job. But I've often
mm.
found after the Mackey's that I'm hungry half an hour later. Not with the KFC though. That does fill me up.
It's weird, funnily enough, you should say about KFC because like when you go to KFC, I mean, my favorite is getting a Zinger Tower meal.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
I love getting a Zinger Tower meal with like a hash brown on there and tomato base or whatever, tomato zing. But like for me, I always feel hungry after it. But I've tried this new KFC thing called the KFC salad, which is like chicken,
okay.
rice, salad, and like a bit of chili con carne with a bit of mayonnaise slapped on it, and
Oh
that is
wow.
like actually really nice,
I mean, it
and
sounds
it's
like a hell
actually
of a
really
mashup.
fun. It's and Kansas bite. I had Kansas bites to go with it as well, and I tell
Wow.
you what, I was full after it.
I'm not surprised. Just talking about it's making me full. Just hearing you talk about it.
It is. It's one of those things that we all can't live without. I bet you every single time. From the minute you get up and you go to bed, you think, "Oh, what can I have today?" or "What can I make tonight?" or
Yeah,
"What am I having?" And that's what
yeah.
we think about when from the minute we wake up till the minute we go to bed. I mean, I don't know about you, but what do you think? Do you ever have like snacks before you go to bed?
All the time. You don't get to be this fine figure of a man by not snacking. Trust me, I snack all the time, and I do nothing about it. I don't go exercising. I don't go running. I don't go to the gym. I just sit down with a beer and some chocolate or some pork scratchings or something like that, and I just gorge out. And I don't care because I'm living a happy life. But I do that. I snack a lot. I eat far
Yeah,
too much and far too little about it. But that's my lifestyle choice. That much choice out there, you're gonna snack, you're gonna pick out. Why not come up with a
yeah.
sneaky chocolate bar or a packet of crisps or some salted peanuts or whatever it might be? But yes, I do snack. What about midnight
It's wi-
snacks? Do you tend to get up at midnight and think, oh, this must be something in the fridge I can make a sneaky sandwich out of or something to pick at? So do you go like downstairs about midnight-ish before you officially go to bed and just have a little sneaky snack of something?
it's weird for me because when I was a kid, I used to like obviously snack a lot and used to obviously pick up a bar of chocolate after school, like a dairy milk, and I used to get that. and I used to pick up like chocolate, but now for me, because obviously the job I do, and because I've gone down the acting route as well.
Hmm.
I've always been about fitness. As soon as I got older, I was all about fitness. So for me, it was the case of I'm not going to start eating chocolate, or I'm not going to start eating like food. Have me tea and all that, but I won't start eating goodies till like Friday and ease myself into it, rather than because I would find myself like binging and binging and binging, and that wasn't doing myself any good. But like for example, the likes of other people who enjoy food, it's really hard because you get that temptation of when you're cooking, you think, oh, I've just got to pick at that. And you think in your brain, well, hang on a minute, I shouldn't be doing that because I want to stick to this week. So it's like, no, I shouldn't be doing that. But then you've got an inkling that tells you, I need to do that. But for you, when it comes to being disciplined and stuff like that, is a discipline thing something that you can do, or is it just like it doesn't really last and I've got to like literally have it because that's what my brain's telling me? What do you?
I struggle with willpower. Very, very low willpower. There's been times, not just with food, but with a lot of things in life where I've said I don't want to do that anymore, or I want to do this, or I'll cut that out, or I'll start doing this. And I last moments. I mean, I think the last time I decided to give up chocolate, I lasted about 2 days, and I was straight on a multi-pack. I don't know what it is. I guess my body, like you say, craves things, and I always crave fatty, sugary, naughty foods and drinks. And that's just what I do. Now, I'm quite fortunate in that I haven't become, what I would class as severely overweight. I'm quite thankful of that. I can still see my feet. I don't get out of breath too much when I go up and down steps. I'm doing okay. So, the fact that I'm on my feet all day at work and up and downstairs and I cycle from time to time, it does help keep me relatively healthy. But I don't seem to have the willpower to keep something going, whether it be a diet or whether it be cutting out a certain type of food or starting a new regime. I don't seem to stick with it. I don't know. It's a mental thing. Something stops me from sticking with it and seeing something through to the end. I just don't seem to have that foresight of what's going to come as the result of me doing this. It's like if I don't see an instant result, there's no point keeping on doing it. And things like weight loss and muscle gain and learning a skill, they take a long time. But I haven't got that thing of one day I'm going to be a massive, great carpenter, or I'm going to be thin, or I'm going to be toned, or knowledgeable about a certain subject. I just want instant results, and it's not going to happen. So why should I bother? That's how I do it.
It's weird, really, because like for me, I started like having like food wise. I used to eat loads of pizzas all the time, and this is what I was saying, going back to the whole pizza thing. Here we go, going down another avenue.
Pizza.
But I used to live on pizza and cheesy chips all the time.
Oh, cheesy chips.
Yeah, I used to live on cheesy chips with mayonnaise and sweet chili.
I could see that working. Yeah.
And on there, and I just used to love that, and I stopped eating it because I was just getting to the point where I was just thinking, I need to stop this now because. But like for me, I don't know about you, but I like eating like chicken and sweet potato and maybe with lettuce and that. Or I've discovered something now what I like, and it's called, my mum makes it. It's called gyrios, where you get it's a Greek thing. It's like a Greek kebab. You get 2 flatbreads, and you fry your chicken. Obviously, you cook your chicken so it's nice and tender, and then you cook it in a sauce with like your rosemary on it, and then your garlic, and then everything else that comes with it, and then your Greek yogurt on the bread, and then you can put your lettuce on top, and then your tomatoes, and then obviously your chicken on, and then I have chips and salad to go with that, and that's quite nice, to be honest with you.
But it's a good recipe. Good tip.
What when you go, so talk about food. If you went to a chippy, say, and
Yeah.
you just felt like, oh, I want to go the chippy. Provided on an English chippy you go to, what do you normally go for when you go? Or do you find like you just want to cook more than go the chippy? What do you?
I mean, we do go the chippy. It used to be quite a lot. It used to be once a week, sometimes twice a week if we were feeling really lazy. But we have knocked down the head. It's just every now and then. Now we'll have a chippy meal or a chippy tea or whatever you want, whatever terminology you want to use. But I'm very basic. Like my missus will go for like like a Chinese based dish. Like something with noodle, something with fried rice, whatever it might be. But I'm very like chippy dinner, like a pie dinner, sausage dinner, chips, curry, and rice, that kind of thing. I'll happily have like a Holland steak pie and a portion of chips, and I'm a happy man. When it comes to chippies, I'm not that adventurous. If I'm going to get like what I would consider like a going out kind of meal, I'd go to a sit down place. I wouldn't go to a chippy and get a big swanky meal. It's more of a Britishy kind of dish, or some nibbles, a couple of sumais and a few maysums, a few dim sums, and a few bits of prawn toast, whatever it might be. But usually pine chips. I'm a pine chips kind of guy with a pint. Simple pleasures. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's weird because like if I go to like the likes of Steve's Chippy by mine, I'll go for like a chicken kebab on the spit on by the window. So like by the window, like spit roast kind of thing. So I'll go for that with like salad and tahini sauce and sweet chili. But like for me, I've been known for getting all different types, like chicken and black bean, sweet and sour chicken, all that malark. But then I found like when I went there, they changed the chef, so it was like then again it wasn't the same. So it was like kind of struggling on what to get. But for me, I like, I don't know, like I'll just get a steak and ale pie or something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, now you're talking my language. Steak and ale pie, it's a beautiful thing if it's made right. Oh, but it's got to have the right ale in it. You can't go sticking one of Stephen's Heineken's in there. No chance. And I hope you're watching, Steve, because I'm not having Heineken in any pie of mine, okay? I'm telling you now.
I hope you're watching that, Stephen. It's one of, so it's like going back to, obviously you say why go for a swanky meal, have a swanky meal and a chippy when you can go to the restaurant. Now going back to the restaurant, Malark, if you had to choose anything to get, or what when you go to a restaurant actually, do you like to have good service when you go to a restaurant? Like, do you like to feel like welcome? Do you like good service where the food's just going to be boom on your table straight away? And if it's not, how does that make you feel?
I mean, anyone going out wants good service. At the end of the day, it's an experience going out. It's not just I'm eating, so I'm going there. You go to a restaurant, you expect to be, looked after by the waiter, waitress, host, whichever. But yeah, you want to be treated like an important guest. You want to be looked after. You want to enjoy the experience. So I don't just want to go and be sat down straight away and eat. I want to have time to sit down, chat, order a drink, get some conversation going before we eat, because it's too rushed. Like I know nowadays, certain places you've got to be given a time scale with obviously COVID restrictions and whatnot. You get like an hour, so you haven't got the time to go in, sit down, order a drink at the bar, have a little chat while your food's getting cooked, and it's like just sit down, as your food, eat it. Have you had it? Good, get out. There's no enjoyment there, so I can't book places because I don't want to be rushed into. You've only got 60 minutes to eat everything. Half the time, I can't decide what I want to eat, and then before you know it, you've been asked to leave, and you've not even eaten anything. So. I want good service, but I don't like to be pressured into hurrying. So if I'm going out, it's for the whole experience of, going to a swanky place, finding a nice meal on the menu, having a chat, having a glass of wine, maybe chatting away, and just enjoying ourselves. It should not be put onto a time restraint. And that's probably why I don't go out that much anymore, because I'm too worried about how little time I'll have outside because of pressure of timescales and hurrying you along so the next customers can come and sit down.
Yeah, it's weird because it's weird for me as well, because when I went out for my granddad's birthday for his 91st birthday, which was nice. I went out for a meal, and my mum recommended this place called Pub in the Park by mine, down the road from mine. Pub in the Park, it was called. And she went there and had drinks with a friend, and she saw the food come out, and she was like, "Why not give it a go? I'll go there, and we'll have food." And for us, it was like, yeah, we ordered. We must have ordered about past or something like that. Um, it was like, okay, so we've ordered our drinks, and after that, we've ordered our starter, and it took an hour for the starter to come, and we ended up it was like 5 times we had to ask where our starter was. Now it was like as soon as a manager was there, it was like, okay, they need the starter now. So then all of a sudden the starter comes out, and my dad got the mushrooms, and I got nachos, and I don't know what my mum got, but as soon as he bit into the mushrooms, they were all hard because they were on the pass or
So they
under
were
the
just
heater
getting,
for ages.
yeah,
Now, for you, if you've ordered something and you know what you want and you're waiting for it, how is that going to make you feel when you're going out and you've ordered something and you think, well, hang on a minute, I've just ordered that. We've ordered an hour ago. It's not here yet. We're waiting for our starters. It's like past already. How is that like for you? And you're biting into it. You wanna eat someone that's fresh, don't you? You don't
yeah,
want
of
to eat
course, yeah.
someone that's stale. Now,
No,
for you, how would you feel if you were eating something that's stale? Would that just put you off and just go, I'm not going there again? How would you feel about that? Would you just be disappointed?
well, obviously I'd be disappointed. I think we Brits, we have a mentality of like, oh, I don't really want to complain. They're just doing the job kind of thing. But hell, I'd complain if I'm being given a dish that's not as I have requested it to be, and I'm paying for it. Then of course you're going to send it back. And if you're waiting as
Mhm.
long as, like you say, could be up to an hour and a half when it could be a reasonably quickly cooked dish, then you want to be eating it when it's still, like you say, fresh. I'm not waiting an hour and a half for what is just essentially a burger and chips. It takes me 5 minutes at home.
Yeah,
Longer than 5 minutes, obviously, but um,
of
I'd
course.
complain. Of course, yes. The microwave can only do so much, Um, but I would complain if I'm going out, especially if it's going out to restaurants. I want the experience to be enjoyable, and if it's ruined by the fact that the food's either overcooked or taking forever to get here, then yeah, I complain. Most times, I'll allow for the fact that it's a busy place. You'd expect to wait if it's really busy, really popular restaurant, whatever it might be. But if it has gotten onto the case where it's too long, I'd expect either something to be comped on the bill or offer something in the means of, like, I don't know, next time you come in, here's a complimentary dish or here's a drink on the house or something, just to say I'm sorry that the service wasn't as good. But certainly the food quality has to be good. If it's not as it should be, send it back. Simple.
It's weird as well because you want to go to a restaurant and you want to eat the food and what you make of it, what us humans make of it, we make it the night of the food being great. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? And it's
Yeah,
like we go to an event, say, and we get the food, and there's a buffet, and what you remember of that night is the good quality of the food rather than having the drink as well. But
exactly.
it's like when you go to a restaurant and you go with your friends and you've recommended it, and then next minute you're waiting ages, and it's like really expensive, and it's took you ages to book a table, and then next
Mm.
minute you're waiting an hour for your food. You're gonna feel really embarrassed. But then what would you do if you've got a waiter there who is not really like as friendly and gives off that vibe like she cannot be arsed being there? How would that make you? How would that make you feel as a person as well?
Just
What
the
would it
same,
make you
like,
feel like?
angry, disappointed, especially if it's a case of you've recommended the place, like you said, and you take your friends, your family, your colleagues to this place that you've been talking about for weeks. Oh, the food there's amazing, the service is fantastic, and you get there, and like you say, it's shocking. Waiting times, the food's not the best, and you feel like an idiot for recommending it. I don't think
Mm,
there's been a restaurant that I've gone to that I've recommended to others and been disappointed. Um, as yet, nothing's coming to my mind of a disappointed time at a restaurant, thankfully. Sure, there's been times when you've had to wait a bit longer than expected, but I've never had any disappointing meals and disappointing service. So I guess I've been one of the lucky ones. But I would be angry especially if it was some place I'd recommended. I don't, like I say, I don't recall any places I've been to that I've been underwhelmed with. So I know the kind of foods I like, and I tend to go to the same places. I mean, there are fast food joints that I don't want to name and shame right now, but they know who they are, and let's just say they're heavily chicken based, and they didn't have any chicken. So I'll leave that with your own imagination. But if you go to a chicken place and they've got no chicken, it's not good, is it?
It's like, for example, Nando's, isn't it? Like, Nando's is the biggest food chain on the market, and it's like a franchise of Nando's everywhere. Whether you go to London, whether you go to like Portugal, places like that, like Nando's is the biggest nation worldwide. Now, there was a point in Nando's where everyone was going, and then all of a sudden, going back to what you were saying, then it was like, oh shit, we've run out of chicken now, so we've got to close. Now, for someone who gets takeaways or has booked a meal for weeks at Nando's, how is that going to make you feel knowing that the restaurant's told you can't go there because you're shorted? There's a shortage of chicken. How would that make you feel?
It would stop me going there. Like, I know it's an actual issue now. A lot of these chicken-based restaurants, Nando's, KFC, and others, are struggling because there's lack of supply, which I totally understand. You know, if you can't physically produce chickens, you don't have chicken to eat, and that's fine. But stop opening more restaurants if you can't supply them with stock. Like, they've opened up a KFC near where I live quite recently, and there's been multiple times when they've had to say, literally, all we've got left is ice cream and drinks and fries and stuff. There's no chickens left in the building. We can't order any in of any, and this is just any kind. This isn't just like we haven't got chicken burgers. We haven't got any chicken products of any kind. And when it's a newly opened store, you'd expect it to have constant, stock updates, replenishments, especially to keep word of mouth going. You don't want to open up a new restaurant that you spent lots of money opening, building, spreading the word with social media and posters and whatnot, to be told at multiple occasions you can't even buy something as simple as a chicken burger off them because there's no chicken. Just close it and find something else to do.
I mean,
there are lots of other eateries out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one really when you say that, because you don't want to be told as a human being no, do you? Like,
Exactly.
you don't. You're going somewhere, you want to order something, you want it to be on the menu, and then you're getting told no, it's not on. It's not on there. Sorry, because we've run out of it. And I'm thinking, whoa, hang on a minute. But then, what can you do if there's like a shortage of obviously supplies and that? Do you know what I mean? I mean, why advertise it?
That's why the corn kicks in, and all the corn guys are like, "Yes, we're going to make an absolute killing now.
Yeah,
get all those chicken-like products ready because we're going to make an absolute killing." And people do, to be fair. There are some well-made, as much as I don't like them, but there are some well-made vegetarian products that are very much like chicken. And if you didn't look at it, you would be forgiven for thinking it is chicken. So, there are ways around it if that's what you want to do. If you find the KFC is shut, go and get yourself a corn burger or corn-like burger and knock yourself out. But just don't invite me to bite any because I'll be biting your hands rather than the actual burger.
I mean, yeah, it's one of them things, like going back to what we were talking about, corn. Like, corn isn't the same as obviously tasting proper meat, because eating proper meat is like tendery and you enjoy it more, and it's like you enjoy the flavors of what you're eating. Now, I don't know whether is that what you would agree with as well, as a human being, as a carnivore? Do you like eating succulent chicken when you taste it, or any type of meat?
Yeah, like I've said, I'm a big meat eater. I don't think I'm ever going to stop until animals stop being, born and produced, and unfortunately slaughtered. But for our purposes, I won't look for a substitute. Maybe I'll consider going on a milkshake diet one day, and I'll just have those two slimming shakes and a healthy bar for my dinner. I don't think so. No.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird because it's like, going back to what we were saying about, like, obviously the shortage of not having chicken in Nando's.
Yeah.
Imagine going to like Greg's or something that you go to like nearly every week. I know that's why I said Greg's, because you absolutely love it, and I know you've got a loyalty card with them. Great stuff. But imagine going to Greg's, say, and you go, I'll just have a bacon butty there, mate. And they're like, oh, sorry, we haven't got any bacon. What would you do then?
Do this. I'm like, what? No bacon. To be fair, I'd be like, oh, all right, can I have a sausage butty instead then? But if they dare say there's no sausage, that's it. Oh, there's going to be some stern looks at people. Because that's all I do is I just look at people. I wouldn't complain too much. At the end of the day, it's probably stopped me getting more fat in my belly. So it could be a good thing if they run out of bacon. I hope they don't. I love you, Greg's. Love you. Just saying. Cheeky plug there. Greg's.
So I know you're a big Greg's fan and everything, and I know you go to Greg's, and obviously because of the whole app thing from Greg's, you ended up getting a loyalty card with them.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What? When you go to Greg's, what is your favourite other than bacon butties, sausage butties, all that? What is your favourite thing to get from Greg's? Because mine, personally, I might go for a chicken and mushroom pasty, and then go for some yum yums.
Oh, I can't stand yum yums.
What would you go for?
I mean, I tend to only go for breakfast normally, but if I was there during a lunchtime, it would probably be something like one of they do those like oval shaped rolls with like the seeded tops and a various array of fillings. I think they do like a Mexican chicken one, which is quite nice. But hell no to the yum yums. I can't stand those goddamn things. And I love donuts, but I don't like yum yums. Someone's basically took a yum yum and rolled it out into a long stick and still called it they've called it a yum yum, but I personally don't like them. If I get a donut, it's got to be a Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. Oh, yeah, you're talking my language now with Krispy Kremes.
I'm glad we've come to the same wavelength. Krispy Kreme are like the best donuts ever.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. They actually are, to be honest with you. I'm actually addicted to Krispy Kreme donuts.
And it's another place that I've got a loyalty card for. Surprise, surprise.
As you do. But it's weird because I love having cookie pie as well.
Is that like a euphemism for something else? I'm not sure. I love me a bit of cookie pie.
No, I'm not that dirty. Not unless you ask nicely. No, a cookie pie is basically a pie of cookie with Nutella and then Kinder Bueno in, and then what do you call it? Like a Kinder Bueno layer on, like white chocolate layer.
It sounds very rich.
Underneath, and it's like the fittest thing going. Or I like jammy Dodger blondies as well, which are nice.
I can't even say that I knew someone who was like that, but it's not true. I have not known any jammy Dodger blondies. I've got to say that now on record.
Now, obviously, we're going back to the sickly puddings here, but a traditional pudding would be like spotted dick and custard, apple pie, meringue, rice pudding. Yeah. What would be your all-time favourite pudding that you would have on a Sunday? What's your all-time favourite?
You see, if I'm out and about, it tends to be either like a sticky toffee pudding or an apple pie, something like that. Apple crumble if we can afford it, but apple pie certainly. But if I'm at home, just this week, I was having Arctic roll, which is a really good retro classic dessert. For those people that are watching don't know what that is, it's a roll of ice cream surrounded in a jammy sponge layer. So effectively cake and ice cream combined. Very 80s, but very tasty. So, I'd highly fly the flag for something as basic and as retro as an Arctic roll. But, I'm a big lover of ice cream. There's been many times I happily just get a bowl of ice cream. Quirky flavors, like a Lotus one. I had a Lotus ice cream last week based on the biscuits. And we've had like the classic mint choc chip and the Neapolitan and all that. But if I'm out, it's going to be sticky toffee pudding or apple pie crust / crumble. I'm really partial to as we're getting into the winter months, obviously things like mince pies and Christmas pudding, Christmas cakes, all the seasonal kind of autumnal spiced up ones. But definitely my go-to is sticky toffee pudding. What's your ultimate dessert if you were out and about? What would you have?
For me, it just depends because if I've eaten like too much food, I might not go for one. But
There's always room for dessert.
If I had to choose one, it would either be like a sundae, ice cream sundae,
yeah.
or a chocolate fudge cake.
Would it have to be hot or cold though? The chocolate fudge cake.
I don't mind. Like I could have chocolate fudge cake with ice cream or cream, or for me, I don't know. I'll go for sticky toffee pudding as well because I like that all day long. That's an actual classic all day long. But do you like sponge and custard as well?
It depends on the sponge. There's been many a time back in the day where I'd have cake and custard, but it was always like a Madeira cake, which is your kind of basic sponge cake with a hint of vanilla in it, with a big load of custard. But you know, things like you mentioned, like spotted dick or jam roly poly. That was always a family favourite. Jam roly poly and custard. Oh, we've definitely touched a very specific niche here, which is classic dessert, and I could talk all day about desserts. My God.
I mean, everyone has got some type of sweet tooth, and you'd be lying if you said every person would be lying if they said they didn't have a sweet tooth, because nearly every human being has got a sweet tooth. Because when it comes to like lemon meringues or creme brulee, everyone would go for a creme brulee, depending on the restaurant. Like I know for Flying Fat, my dad likes creme brulee. What about you? Is creme brulee something that you like as well?
Nice. It's nice as a lighter alternative. I tend to always favour the stodgy ones, like the sticky toffee pudding, like the jam sponge, like the jam roly poly, the thick, claggy, stick to your ribs kind of winter warmers. But if you're having a big heavy meal, you do want something like a creme brulee or a sorbet or a little light, like a little light, like a yogurty style dessert, something light and cooling. But I always tend to favour, like I say, the stodgy, classic ones, the big thick bowls full of hot custard or something like that. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's weird because my traditional Christmas time would be like a Christmas cake with so my nan would do like make a rum sauce and like tip the rum over it and then light it. And then that'll be like a traditional Christmas pudding at the time with whatever ice cream, whatever. Obviously, it'll be an alcohol-based Christmas pudding, and I don't really drink, so I have a chocolate log. Now, for me, I absolutely love chocolate logs.
I'm sorry.
Not when I'm dumping.
I was going to say that's
one in the toilet.
I was going to say that's after you've had your main meal, isn't it? Oh God!
Not when I've got to go and drop the kids off, Dave. No.
I got some timber off at the yard.
I absolutely love like chocolate cake at Christmas time shaped in a log. Now,
yes, the U log, yes.
Yeah. What do you think? Is that what you like as well, or are you a traditional Christmas pudding person?
I mean, Christmas is always my favorite time of the year in terms of food. The amount of luxury items you get for food, I'm spoiled for choice, and it's always been mince pies and Christmas puddings for me, always, without fail, year on year. Mince pies, Christmas pudding, they're my go-tos. They will always be my go-tos. But I do like to deviate. You get, restaurants and supermarkets all bringing out variants of things like a mince pie, where they'll do like an orange version or a chocolate version or whatever it might be. So I'm always willing to experiment. In fact, just this week I had something festive. Now, I hope you don't mind me plugging this, but
no, go ahead.
If you've got access to Instagram, take a look at Jodie's Sweet Treats. Jodie's my sister, and she's a really good baker. And just this week, she delivered me some cupcakes, and she does amazing cupcakes. But these are special because these are mince pie flavored cupcakes. They have a mincemeat filling inside them. And I took one bite, and it was Christmas in my mouth. And they are unbelievable. So I'm getting addicted to them already. I've already had mince pies because there was an early release this year. Every shop was doing a June miss, believe it or not, middle of the year. and we all got mince pies and Christmas puddings early. So I've already had my dabble at Christmas food already, but it's not going to stop there. I've also discovered mince pie flavored chocolate digestive, so it's definitely Christmas in our house in September, and I'm loving it because I love food anyway. So anything festive, I'm there.
It's weird about Christmas what you're saying there, because every Christmas time people love Christmas for one thing, and that is food and obviously the drink as well. And that's what people love. Like,
Empty.
but going back to your food,
Sorry, cut that out. Went down the wrong hole.
going back to the food side of things. Did you know? I read in an article. Did you know that there's going to be a food shortage for Christmas dinner?
Well,
in the supermarket chains. I mean, I don't know whether that's true, but that's what I read in like an article. Whether they've changed it since then, I don't know. But if it is true, what do you make of that as a person?
I think it's highly likely. We are struggling as a country to do imports and exports, largely down to COVID restrictions and the Brexit scenario and all that. So we're relying heavily on our own produced stuff in the UK, which is great. You know, we do make some of the best, fruit, vegetables, meat products in the world in the UK, but we are a small island compared to other countries, so it will run out quite quickly. Demand's high. There's millions of us all wanting turkeys at Christmas time, and there's only so many millions of turkeys in the country, so it's likely that we will run out. It's highly likely that there'll be people having, a nut roast at Christmas time, or Quorn turkey burgers, or a slice of lovely, mushroom with stuffing. I'm sorry for those people, but that's a likely story. It could happen unless supplies can be imported. We are going to struggle at Christmas time, and it's not just across food; it's across mainstream products like electronics, TVs, stuff we use every day like microwaves, cookers, kitchen supplies, furnishings, all the stuff that we would normally get from abroad. We are going to struggle with this year. So it's not just across the food scenario. Toys, Christmas toys this year. There's companies that can't physically send us the stuff that we want, so we're having to either source it in the UK or consider other things. So, it's a terrible time, but it's the way the world right now. We just got to make the best with what we've got, and that's why my freezer has a turkey crown in it. It doesn't.
I mean, for you, like what you're saying there, imagine if they ran out of like your most important things, and that's like your biscuits and your mince pies. How would that make you feel when you go into the shop and you look on the shelves and go, "You've just totally ruined my Christmas here"? Like, how would that make you feel if you couldn't see a mince pie?
I mean, it's like a scene in an apocalyptic movie or something. If man Walking Dead, if there's no mince pies in the world, I feel like the world's gone to hell. I'd be upset because it's been a staple of mine for years and years and years, and I'm too lazy to learn how to bake my own. So I rely on shops to make me their mince pies. So it would be a sad time indeed. But I'd accept it. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'd accept it.
Yeah.
So just go on the hunt for mince pies now. It'd be like when everyone went mad for pasta and toilet rolls last year. I've been knocking on people's doors. Got any mince pies? You got any mince pies there? I need some mince pies. You got any mince pies? You got some? You got some? Like I'm proper looking for something else that's not a mince pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, going back to the food scenario as well, what I do know is, Dave, because I rang you the other day and asked you some questions before we did this live show.
Yeah.
And when you were ringing me, I was having me tea, and you said to me, "What are you having?" And I said, "Salt and pepper chicken." And you went, "Oh, I absolutely love salt and pepper chicken." Now,
really
Dave, you love
do.
salt and pepper chicken, but what made you like salt and pepper chicken?
Well, salt and pepper. It's two of my favorite seasonings, and it's cooked so well. I've been to many places that do salt and pepper variants of all kinds of dishes, and it's got to be my all-time favorite way of cooking something. Like I tend to go for this. It's technically for two people, but I never share it because I'm fat for a reason. I don't share food, and I get this salt and pepper banquet from a nearby little Chinese chippy, and just brace yourself for how much food you get. This, right? Okay, so you get some salt and pepper chicken fillet pieces, which are amazing. You get some salt and pepper chicken wings, again amazing. Salt and pepper ribs, again amazing. The meat just falls off the bone, fantastic. You get 2 massive salt and pepper sumais. You get a portion of salt and pepper chips and a curry dipping sauce, all in this one tray. It's massive, but I'm like Homer with all the drool down his chin and everything on The Simpsons. I'm like, so good, so good. Salt and pepper's a classic, coating and topping, and I just love it, just love it. What is it about salt and pepper you like?
I mean, for me,